Hello, everybody. It's me, Ross, and welcome back to another edition of Meet the Opposition. Today, I'm joined by Phil, the man who covers all things Wycombe Wanderers for BBC Three Counties Radio. Phil, it's a big one. Wycombe Wanderers take on Town at Adams Park. It's going to be a full packed stadium under lights. You guys drew 3-3 with Fleetwood on the weekend. Goals galore, while Town lost at Plymouth 2-1. Phil, let's get your assessment. Welcome to the show. How has Wycombe's season gone so far? Third in league. Not too shabby.
Yeah. Thanks for having me on. Wycombe, been a very good start. Very solid, if not spectacular. I still don't think Wycombe have hit top gear yet, which is a great sign considering they only lost 2 games and third in the table. Just sort of easing their way into the season. Really, it's a fairly settled squad from last season, from the team that came down from the Championship, with a couple of notable additions. But yeah, really pleased with how things are going so far, and most of the fans are too.
Yeah, and of course, as I said, it was a 3-3 draw on the weekend against Fleetwood. Goals. Ipswich Town, we score a lot of goals. So, what can you expect from this game? We'll talk about the players to look out for Town fans, for Wycombe, and the possible starting 11. But what sort of game can we expect for Ipswich Town versus Wycombe?
This is a really tough one to call. Wycombe have got 100% league record at home. I think the last remaining one in the country. Only just though, because it took a 97th minute winner against Crewe last time out at home to keep that going. And plus there was a 4-3 against Morecambe from 2-0 down in there with another injury time winner. So it's really difficult to call this game because, I mean, you guys, it depends on which Ipswich Town turn up, because you've had some pretty weird results, both for you and against you. So we'll see. I mean, Paul Cook is an old adversary of Gareth Ainsworth. We know Cookie fairly well from down the years from his other clubs. It's going to be a really competitive, niggly game. I think it's going to be great to watch. I think it could be a tight one though. I don't think it could be the goal fest that many might think it might be. I think it could be tight. It could be niggly. And I think a lot of Wycombe fans would have expected Ipswich to be right up there with Wycombe. Really bad start for you guys, but you're making up some ground now and getting some good results. So I'm sure you'll be up there at some point by the end of the season. So I won't call it a 6-pointer, but I think back in August, I think a lot of people would have looked at this game and thought, wow, that's going to be a bit tasty. And it's set up to be that, I think.
Yeah. And you said off screen, you guys played 4 up front. What sort of football can we expect from Wycombe? Will you maybe hold back a little bit, or will you just go full throttle because it's just Town in town?
Well, it's weird. Like Wycombe have got this reputation for playing long ball up to the big man, Akin Fenwer, and being very direct. And I think Gareth Ainsworth likes people to talk about that because Wycombe have evolved quite a bit since that season in the Championship. We have been playing wing backs quite a bit this season, and we got some great. Gareth McCleary, who is injured. We're not sure whether he'll be in the squad or not. Players like Daryl Horgan, Brandon Hanlon. Wycombe can get the ball down and play it a lot now as well. Set pieces are still really key. We'll see. But yeah, on Saturday, they kind of ditched this 3 at the back system that has been so successful so far this season and the back end of the Championship season. Went 4 at the back, 2 in midfield, and then pretty much 4 up front. Daryl Horgan was floating behind the front 3. Sprung a bit of a surprise on Fleetwood, went into a 3-1 lead, and then Fleetwood made a big change and then got it back. But so I think they'd probably go back to 3 at the back with the wing backs on against Ipswich, but you never know. Gareth Ainsworth likes to keep people guessing. He had a really, a habit of matching up against other teams. So whatever formation Ipswich Town normally would play, he had a big habit back in League One last time out of matching teams up. So I wouldn't be surprised if he does that. He'll have a lot of respect for Cookie and the players that you guys have got. So it could be a matching up 4 at the back. But for the first time, Wycombe have got a fairly decent squad with cover in all positions. So if they were to go 4 at the back, it's not a weakening by any stretch of the imagination. So we'll see. He rested the wing backs on Saturday against Fleetwood. Could be interesting to see if they come back fresh tomorrow night.
Definitely. And I'm going to put the your predicted team below. Let's go and take a look at the squads. Some big names that stand out for me. David Stockdale, he had a loan spell at Town back in the early 2010s, and he's been a decent goalkeeper throughout. Sam Vokes is another big player that stands out, Jordan Abita. But I'll let you take the floor. Any players that Town fans should look out for and who have been good this season?
Yeah, Stocko in goal has been phenomenal for Wycombe Wanderers. He's made some great saves, but his distribution is spot on, and he's a bit of a nutcase, and every team needs one of those. So and he's really driven. He's had a tough couple of years before coming to Wycombe, and I think he's relishing playing football again. And I think he was saying the other day he's looking forward to playing in front of the Town fans again. That away end's going to be packed, so I'm sure there'll be a bit of laughter between Stocko and the Town fans tomorrow night. Ryan Tafazoli at the centre back. He's been getting quite a few goals this season as well, but very calm and assured centre back, left footed. If he plays well, Wycombe tend to play well as well. Into midfield, and Josh Scowen's been great to get him back at the club. We developed him as a youth player, and he's gone and played up in the Championship, and he's back at Wycombe now, which is great to see. And he's a phenomenal player. He's really ticks over in midfield and keeps us moving. Daryl Horgan, if Gareth McCleary isn't fit, I think Daryl Horgan will enjoy playing against Ipswich. I think the ball will be on the deck a bit more at Adams Park, and he's a bit of a magician when he can get going. And Brandon Hanlon, you've mentioned Sam Vokes. Vokes is a great striker for us, probably one of the biggest signings in the club's history. But Brandon Hanlon has really proved his worth as well. He's got a load of pace, really driven, goes towards goal every time he gets it, and he's starting to look really dangerous and settled in now. So yeah, it's I still pinch myself going through this squad. It wasn't that long ago when we had sort of a 45-year-old Ainsworth on the bench, and now we've got covering positions and international players. So yeah, it's kind of strange, but it's a nice feeling.
Yeah. I'm sorry to bring this up. It's always spoke about for Wycombe Wanderers. Akinfenwa, will we expect him to come on? And he bullied Town really when we played you on New Year's Day on Sky. Of course, he was part of the equaliser for Wycombe. Do you reckon he'll get chucked on at some stage in this game?
Yeah, it depends on how things are going. He's a wonderful sub to have. He started on Saturday, and he started 2 league games this season and scored in both of them. He's 39 years old. No need to apologise to bring up his name, because quite frankly, the guy is a Wycombe legend. He's the club record goal scorer in the Football League era. He's still going, a bit like Stockdale, a phenomenal character to have around. And yeah, he often comes off the bench. If Wycombe have the lead, he's fantastic at defensive set pieces. He's a real menace when he comes on and can bully centre-backs. If centre-backs have been run at for 60, 70 minutes, the last thing they want to see is Akinfenwa lumbering on to give them all sorts of different problems. I would be surprised if we see him at some point tomorrow night. And he'll enjoy the atmosphere as well, because I'm sure that the Town fans will give him a bit of stick and some friendly abuse, and he loves that. He laps it up. It's phenomenal to have him at the club for so long as we have. He's probably the biggest football celebrity outside the top 2 divisions. But he is a great footballer, and a lot of people forget that. He's not just a target man. He's good on the deck, and if he does come on, I think he'll be a handful. So we'll see.
We shall see. And got to the moment now on the video, getting your prediction for the game. The last 2 results has been draws between Ipswich and Wycombe. The 0-0 at Portland Road, then the 1-1 on Sky. What do you reckon then? What's your prediction? We'll go to.
Well, this one, as I said earlier on, it depends on what Ipswich turn up. Wycombe, 100% home record so far in the league. You'd have to think after 6 games that eventually that's going to come to a halt. It's tough. I have to, with hand on heart, I have to go with a Wycombe win, but I think it'll be tight. I think it'll be 2-1 to Wycombe. But who knows this one? If you're a neutral and you saw this on your betting long list, you'd avoid this fixture like the plague, I think.
I think so. Definitely not on people's acres. Definitely not. Now, the final thing to talk about is, there's going to be a lot of Town fans in the away end. What's your tips? What's your guide for there? Any places to go? Anything to do before the game? Of course, it's a Tuesday night game. Of course, this has been lovely on a Saturday. Or the last time we were there, it was New Year's Day. So everyone's getting over their hangovers. But what can Town fans expect on a Tuesday night?
Well, if you're coming by train, it's a bit of a trek, so leave a bit of time. There's a pub down the road called the Hourglass, which is, I think away fans are all right in there. And Wycombe fans are generally a pretty friendly bunch. You know, our main history is non-league, and we've still got a bit of a non-league spirit, but beating away in this club. And you know, the welcome at the ground for Ipswich fans. You know, there's a couple of beer tents there, and they'll be well looked after at Adams Park as well. So yeah, if you're going to get a few beers in town, then get there a bit earlier, and it's a bit of a walk. There's some buses running as well, but yeah, my tip would be to get to Adams Park early and get in the beer tents and mix around with the local fans as well, because yeah, it's a family club, it's a friendly club, you know, and it's kind of nuts, isn't it? 20 years ago, 20, 30 years ago, if you'd have said this would have been a league fixture, people would have laughed at you. So a lot of difference in the history of the two clubs, but I'm sure it'll be a good night tomorrow night, whatever the result.
Definitely, it's going to be a big one. Phil, thank you very much for joining me on Meet the Oppo. And, well, hope everybody's enjoyed watching. Let's bring it on then. Adams Park, away to town. Let's get into it. Bye-bye for now.